Well, look at that. There's the new toy. It's a David Brown 880A Select-O-Matic with the 12-speed gearbox. So with the 3 gear sticks, the 3 gear sticks in the middle here, if it has this one here, it's a 12-speed, and you can actually tell that by the serial number. It'll have an S at the end of the number. So this one says 880A, I can't think what it is, 508 something or other, and pardon me, it's a 1968 tractor, and if you just have the 2 gear sticks you have a 6-speed, if you have 3 you have a 12, it just gives you another reduction, but it's not a high reduction, it's a low reduction. So when you lift it right up into low, it's like a creeper box. And in our area, these were used with a 60-inch rotary hoe, and the creeper box slowed the tractor down enough that the rotary hoe could do its job properly. So the dash is a bit second-hand, rust holes there, but I do have a spare tractor around the back that I've had tucked away for years, and I've checked a few things out before I even went that I thought may have been wrong. I just had a good look at it, and the dash on my parts tractor, we'll call it, is just about perfect. So the dash will be okay. It's got a ringing gear knob on it, and that one's not real flash either. One of the main things is these PAVT rims, power adjustable variable track rims. Now these are rare as rock and horse poo. Yeah, look, I've never seen another David Brown with one on, but when you have a look at tractordata.com and you look up David Brown 880, one of the photos is this exact tractor pretty well, with the PAVT rims on the back. So they're very sought after. When I looked at the for sale ad and I saw them, well, that sort of sparked the interest straight away. I have the beautiful looking rat's nest under the dash. That's a must when you buy old tractors. If it hasn't got that, it's not worth worrying about really. Bird poop on the top of the tank, on top of the tranny housing. The steering is pretty good. There's a little bit of front axle movement forward and back, just there, but look, not too bad. It still has the original generator, starter motor, cartridge oil filter. Now this front rim, 616, has been replaced, I believe. It's in pretty good order. When I come around and look at the other rim, now see the extra holes in between the wheel studs, or the wheel bolts. I think that would be the original one, and that is quite rusty on the rim there. The bonnet is in pretty good order. So when we take a look at, under this strip there, I can see a little bit of a rough rusty edge, but the bonnet is straight. There's no big dings in it. There's a little bit here, and just a couple of little bits on the front, but apart from that it's pretty good. Now the bottom apron's savable at least, but the bonnet's rusted away from it a bit down the bottom, so it's only just down in the corners. The radiator is really good, so I reckon the radiator's been put in, well, at least serviced or something. It's just in really good order. On the 880s and some of the David Browns with the battery in the front there, I've seen them, if they're overcharging and that, corrode the radiator a bit, but this looks okay. The battery that was in it, it lasted a day, I suppose. No warranty. And up here, this is the Australian fitment of a pre-cleaner. Now this pre-cleaner here, that's the early one. Now later on they went to a lot squatter but a bit wider one, so that's a very early one. I don't know where I'll get a paper element for that, but I haven't even looked. No doubt in all our parts listings will be something. Someone's got rid of the standard exhaust and put a hot dog there. I wish people wouldn't do that, but anyway, that's okay. But yeah, the bonnet's got a touch of bog there now and a little bit there, so there is a strengthening seam that goes through here somewhere, I believe, from memory. So I'd say the double seam has picked up the bit of moisture or something like that. So the foot plates are okay. The mud guards are in repairable condition. You can see it's been painted before, but it would have had a sunshade. You can see where the holes have ripped out here, and it's the same on the other side there. But all in all, the guard has a bit of rust down here, and I reckon there's a bit of bog just there as well. But now, certainly doable, certainly fixable. This mud guard's a little bit better, so not too bad. It's got the original seat, but it's got a bit of rust and it's had a patch in it at some stage, so that's all right. Now, the hydraulics don't work. So this arm here, this lift arm, that's got a slight twist in it. Now, the tin piece and the lever on the selector mechanism for depth, position and external services sort of thing. I've just gone blank there. That's all rusted away, but I have a good one on the parts tractor. That top cover that covers your hold valve and your bypass valve was missing, and this was an irrigation tractor, so you know what sort of condition the hydraulics are in, don't you? The top link graft selector, this cable, I had to play with that, and that's still nice and free, so I pulled the back plate off just for a bit of a sticky beak. But it's got the original drawbar there still, and everything else is looking pretty good there. No big axle seal leaks or anything like that. It's got it yellow on the final drive. Might have had an industrial final drive or something put on it one stage. The sun's just starting to come into a bad position. So you can see a little bit of oil around there. I've been fiddling with this, with the hydraulics, and I've put it all back together, and I sort of know what's going on with it, but I will do a video on diagnosing your Selectomatic hydraulics. There's a few little things you can do, and I've had a look, and I'm pretty sure the main control valve on this is pretty rubbish. So we'll just see. So with that cover missing, you know that they've been in there fiddling with it, and with on the bypass valve here, the washer's missing from under there, so yeah, they've been having a fiddle. But yeah, your foot plates are pretty reasonable. The toolbox is dinged up a little bit, but I do have one on the other tractor. The injection pump has had a service on it. Now, I'm not sure, there'll be a date there, I haven't been able to find it yet, but it's out the side here, getting ready for a bath, its first bath, and the bonnet will come off. Even the, your timing pins where they go in here, that's all still nice and free, so probably got oil on the clutch, but the PDO clutch doesn't work. That's okay, we'll get to that in time. But yeah, look, all in all, it's a pretty good find. Especially with those rims, like I was really pleased to get them, and if with the hydraulics being so bad, if I didn't have the tractor out the back, I may not have taken it on because the control valve was seized in the housing. But look, I'll shut this down, I'll go around the back, I'll show you the whole wreck. Don't laugh, but it'll save our ass with this one. Okay, this is our parts one, it's a 780. This is just slightly newer than the one we just bought. You wouldn't know it, would you? But anyway, so that's had a rim swap at some stage. That's nothing like the original rims. And I can't remember what this other one looks like. Yeah, so that would be an original rim, but it's rubbish. So the radiator in this one has had a bit of a patch up. But the story with this tractor is that I sold a man an engine kit, and he come back quite a number of months later and said, I'm never going to get that thing together. You want to buy it off me? So I didn't pay much for this thing. I bought it off him and I bought the engine kit with it. So the hydraulic levers here and the top cover and that we've all sold off it. It does have that plate that we need for the hydraulics. The cover on the selector valve there is good, and so is the lever. The throttle on this one is in better order than the throttle on the other one, so that'll be getting used. And if we come around the back here, the dash on this tractor is straight as the road to heaven. She's a beauty. So that'll be okay. The guards were buggered long ago, but this arm here is nice and straight. Yeah, so this is going to get stripped. Like to get the other one going, we're going to pull this whole rock shaft assembly out, check the piston, and we're going to make the best tractor we can out of the parts that we have. This has the drawbar underneath still. The arms are quite worn, but now there's plenty there to make a tractor out of. Even this still turns. How's that? Well, a couple of free linchpins. So yeah, that's the little 880 parts tractor. And with the hydraulics being sealed up on that, it doesn't have a tranny filter in it underneath, and the cup that holds it in's gone. Well, someone needed one and we helped them out with it. But she's had such a hard life, you can even see on the back rims here, you can see cracks in between the wheel studs there. But the bloke that I bought this off, he was a rough bugger, I knew that. And yeah, this tractor, he was a bit of a fencing contractor, and yeah, she wouldn't have owed him 2 bob. So that's our parts one. Yeah, it's never going to be going again, but in this occasion, for what we have, yeah, look, it'll help us out no end. Okay, we're laying underneath here, and I found this interesting. This tractor, originally the fella said it was sold in Gympie, and he bought it from Gympie to bring it up to our area, and Gympie's very steep. So I found this interesting. Here's these extensions they've put on the brake rods. So I can't reach the pedal to make it work, but this is where your normal pivot, where the rod would normally go, up in through there, and this little bar with the hole in it for the rod usually goes through up the top there. But they've put this extension on, and that's probably a 2-inch extension. So what that does is, for the pressing down the brake pedal, it gives you more purchase on it, but I've never seen that ever before. But yeah, look, it's got to be a good idea. There's a little telltale sign on the bottom of the final drive there of oil in the brakes for sure. It's got the front drawbar mount there with the near the canister. But all in all, oh, that's flaring out a little bit. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it, and it's certainly got the bones of making a good little tractor. This is what I've been doing in the heat as well. As you come in the back door here, this is the area where I use the CNC and all that. I've finally got this cleaned up, and there's the old Farmall 100 tucked away over here. I got the carby on that a few months ago and took that for a drive. Very noisy in the back end, this old girl, but it's a Farmall 100 high crop, so I've got a lot of parts here for that for whenever we get to it. Who knows when that'll be. But yeah, I got the John Deere 420 high crop shifted over here, and so we'll have the 420 high crop, Goldie, the 2030, and I'll do a bit of a run along the back wall here. And I'd say the David Brown, there'd be room for the David Brown in here or up the other end somewhere, but I still have to get all the dust extraction unit in this pallet racking there somewhere out of the way. It's just a bit of a nuisance where it is, but that's opened up a nice clean area for the CNC router and the laser and my little workstation over there. So yeah, so we're getting there.